Hello, dear ones. I want to talk some more about love and self-love today because I really don't think anybody will be free until we are fully capable of loving ourselves, every single part of ourselves. As long as we are denying any part of ourselves love, until we are able and willing to bring love to these parts in us that still feel separate, unloved, unintegrated, pushed out, criticized, judged, not allowed, feared. All of these things is part of what? The false matrix. That is the programming that we have all been carrying inside of us for a long, long time. And I want to say that with the energies and what is shifting energetically in our universe, let's say, is that all that stuff is coming up to the surface, inside and out in the world. And if we do not know how to meet that with a loving, kind, open attitude, we're just going to fight it. Just like we have been all along. We've been fighting ourselves and fighting ourselves for so long. And then yet we meditate and we go to spiritual retreats and we want God. But underneath, there's so many parts that we do not want to bring into heaven. And yesterday I talked about the people pleasing, the people pleasers, which most women are or have been. And I said, you cannot bring that into heaven because people pleasing equals not loving yourself. So, how do you think you can get into heaven if you know that heaven is love, heaven is oneness? You can't come to the door if there were a door and say, well, I have this part. I'm not loving this part. So I'm going to leave this here. But it's you, it's part of you. So you can't get through the door, right? Because you're not allowing all of you in through the door. So this is, this is kind of my thing, right? One of my things in this life, just the whole self-love. Learning it and practicing it and taking it seriously. And when I started this was in the late 90s. Nobody was talking about self-love. It was like, what are you talking about? Because most people were not afraid how unkind and unloving they were and are towards themselves. So what are you talking about, Pernilla? Today there is a lot more awareness around it. And there's still many people who probably have no clue what I'm talking about because they are so identified in this grind and in the shoulds and in the I can't have that and I'm not good enough. It is such a deep, deep identification. And in there, you probably don't even know you are doing it. That's why I feel here that I can expose what we're doing. It's like making it conscious so that you can next time when you're in some heavy duty energy, you can go, oh, wait a minute, what was on that video again? And who was that again? There was something about loving myself and I'm not loving myself right now. I'm letting people walk all over me. I'm pushing myself to the limit. I'm not letting myself follow what is really important to me. And so on and on it goes. We are in this grind, but we need to see first that we are doing it. That's kind of a big task already, but it is possible. And I invite you to get curious about where and how you are not yet loving yourself, where you are still resisting some feelings, resisting what you want and long for, suppressing your true nature, your true expression, your joy, your aliveness. It's like we walk with this contraction around us and we're so dense and we're unhappy and we're depressed and you wonder why. So, in order to come into our fullness, in one way, it is super, super simple once you can see it. And that is that it is simply that we are not fully loving ourselves yet. That is the distortion, that is the density, that is the unhappiness that we're all dealing with. And we're trying all these avenues, to get help, pills, medication, and many natural things too, which is great if it supports your current life. So at least you can keep going until you get that flash of lightning. It's like, oh my God, the reason I'm feeling like this is because I am denying myself love. I'm not allowing love to go to these places in my body, in my emotions, to be flooded with love so that they also can be filled with the fullness of who I am. And in the fullness, that's when the density starts expanding. Then we're in our fullness. There are no limitations. That doesn't exist there. Limitation exists in the density that we ourselves are creating because we are not allowing ourselves to be filled with the love of who we are, the love of the divine, the love that we are, that we have denied ourselves. Once you step out of that not self-love thing and look at your life and you look back, you can only shake your head and go, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? And the problem probably is that I was thinking, and I was thinking that I was not good enough, not lovable, yada, yada, yada. So this is the missing link to freedom. Self-love or lack of self-love needs something. So the missing link is self-love, period. When do you want to start learning it? You may already be doing some, because I think as we become more conscious, we do start noticing that we're doing unloving things to ourselves. And I celebrate you for seeing that and taking action. But my friends, then there's all these deeper, deeper, deeper layers. And I'm still working through mine. I can still be pulled in, or not pulled in, but be present with and notice like, oh, there's this thing in me, it's still holding on. But I also notice that when the story around it goes away, when I just stay with it and, just really get curious about it, then suddenly it's like I can swoop underneath and just love it. And guess what happens every time? It relaxes. Because it was my lack of love that kept it contracted. And when something is contracted, there is no blood flow. There's no circulation. So there is a stagnation of energy, of blood, of toxins, right? That all accumulate in our bodies. And, we all have them because we have lived in fear and in self-denial for a long time. So we all have these issues. It's not that there's anything wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that it's been a misunderstanding where we were programmed to believe that it's not okay to love yourself, to really be gentle and caring and loving to yourself. The belief has been And this is from religions, obviously, from the church, that that's selfish, and it's BS. It's actually selfish to not love yourself in the right way. If you go on an ego thing because you're insecure, that's not real self-love. That's more an avoidance of feeling what's underneath it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about self-love that is able to meet all the places inside that we ourselves have denied love. So my wish for this world is, of course, that we live in peace and we can finally live in harmony with ourselves and with each other. But as long as we are not able to meet all these unloved parts inside of us, we will project that out into the world. And we will meet people who will mirror back to us that we're not lovable. It's that simple. And that's why it takes a real willingness to be able to see that, because then it becomes obvious and simple. And then there's no reason to blame anybody, including ourselves. I mean, if you blame yourself for being whatever, stupid, it's simply because you're not loving yourself. Instead of blaming yourself, try to love the parts inside that you're blaming. You may need help with that in the beginning. Absolutely. It's like a whole new way of seeing the world, of functioning in the world, in a relationship with yourself. It's completely new. So, fair enough. It's going to take a little help probably to learn that. But why not? Because once you learn it, then you can keep doing it and you can keep meeting every part of you, every layer that does not feel loved, because you and all of us have denied ourselves love. So, the one single most important solution to the world's problems, and I know when I say that, it's like, well, people are going to say, yeah, but look at the world and look at the wars and look at all this crazy. Yeah, I know that. And it's because they're not loving themselves. So I can't go out there and make all the crazy politicians say you should love yourself and then you would not go to war anymore. I don't think that's going to work. But what does work is connecting here with you, where there is an openness and a curiosity. And maybe you feel jaded with all this, stuff that we're living in and that you've been doing to yourself. Maybe you're coming to a place where you say, I want to try something else. So I'm offering you self-love as a very powerful solution to most, if not all, of our problems. It's at least the starting point. Do we need to do other things? I'm sure we do. But until we've got that self-love thing going, we will have to come back and bring every single part of us to the table of freedom and enlightenment and the new earth. Because in the new earth, we're not going to live in duality anymore. We will not live in duality with ourselves anymore. So the more we can clear that duality out in ourselves and start living in oneness in here, we basically automatically find ourselves in the new earth, because we are then becoming the frequencies that are the new earth and do not fit into the old. So please reach out. Self-love is my thing for whatever reason. That may be one of the reasons I came here for, to really help that the way to love yourself. Doesn't mean it's like a love affair thing, but it just means to love every part of you um, without holding back, without exclusion. It's a very natural thing. And then it softens and it can start to heal and change and open and be fulfilled. That's how we bring in the new earth, by becoming it. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much.